Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at alerts.chartguys.com. Hey crypto friends, checking in, getting back in the flow of things with more regular market and crypto videos. So we'll look at our usual names here. When we last checked in, we were watching the possibility of the daily bear flag, and we were cautious of that. But at this point, we have seen enough continuation that the odds of the bear flag decrease a good bit. The reason for that is simply because we're about 5-6% higher than we were when we were last looking at things. So that means the bulls have 5 to 6 more percent space to work with, where we could pull back and still maintain a daily higher low. So what I'm watching is the wide range within the double bottom from 9,000, the top of 12,300, our higher low of 9,400, and we're scouting a lower high in the near term future. Bulls would love to see the price break 11,000, the midway point between pretty much 9,500 and 12,300 is going to be 300. Let's see, that's low 11,000s. So pretty much getting to the low 11,000s will put us into the middle of this range. And if we do get that follow through, if the bulls see another 4 or 5% to the upside, it's entirely possible that we stay within this tightening range for the rest of the month. And what that would look like, if that were going to be the scenario, would be high, low, lower high. We'd scout a higher low, and it's probably not going to look this smooth, but that gets us towards the end of August where we look for the range to continue to tighten. We get to a point within equilibriums, and I was talking about this in the live stream today for stocks, where I stop playing within those equilibriums and I wait for the break. So in this instance, I was playing the oversold dump, got more oversold than we were looking for, but at this point, looking for a lower high to form would be one of the last plays that I would look at if I were going to play bearish, which I'm not be trading on Coinbase, but looking for that lower high, and then at that point, just hands off and patiently wait for the equilibrium. And that's why trading other markets can be so useful, so we don't try and overtrade in tightening ranges. We can say, all right, wait till the break occurs, gonna go try and trade something else. And that is a lot easier than just saying, well, I'm not gonna trade for the next 10 days because there's obviously other markets and other opportunities. So Bitcoin, at this point, I still have a 12% position. I've exited the majority of my position on the bounce. It's still possible for me to go green on this trade, but not holding my breath. We would need to make a move over 11,000. And I am personally considering, am I going to hold this position through the daily tightening range, or would I want to exit anticipating the daily lower high and then just look to re-enter the same position for that higher low? Haven't made that decision just yet. Going to see how much more follow through we can get. If we can get over 11,000, then that's the way I'll probably look to play it, as far as walking a stop on the 4-hour time frame with the higher lows clear. And right now the bulls have a higher low at 10,265, so a lot of space to work with still in this 4-hour uptrend. This little move is what faked me out to exit 13% of my position that I had left, where we had a little higher low, failed to see continuation, and dropped down a bit. And that's just the difference between being aggressive and being conservative. As I've said many times, I'm currently in a conservative trading mindset where goal number 1 is don't give back profit from the last couple years, and goal number 2 is add to that profit. So being conservative would have me exiting on that break, and if I were being more aggressive, I might look to hold my position a bit longer with more faith that this bounce would play out. So either way, still got a little bit of skin in the game, but it's enough. It's a small enough position that the fluctuations of $200, $300, $500 on Bitcoin are not leading to huge fluctuations in my account. So it's much easier for me to let things ride in that regard. So all about the 4-hour uptrend and scouting a lower high for the bulls, ideally in the lower $11,000 range. Checking in on Ethereum. So Ethereum on the daily, anything under 216 is just a lower high. So we could still see another 5-8% move and still be in a daily downtrend. We're watching the daily exponential resistances, and in my opinion, if the bulls are going to change this trend, it will require a higher low and higher high, which is something we'll keep an eye on. Best case scenario for both Ethereum or Litecoin or any altcoin is seeing a daily trend change on the dollar pairing as well as the Bitcoin pairing. So Ethereum BTC chart does still have my attention because it is tightening up nicely, and we could see a trend change, certainly possible. This equilibrium may continue to play out into next week with where it's currently standing. A lot of range in here, and we've been within this range for the last 12 days. So anything under 1980 is just a daily lower high. We've got support down at 1756, 1763 with a little double bottom. If we change the daily trend, we'll get over these daily exponential resistances clearly for the first time in many months. Probably 2-3 months since that has happened. So it would be notable. The last time we changed this little daily trend, it was a bear flag with no follow through, and we never got over the exponential resistances. So the tighter we get, the more these exponential resistances drop, and the easier it is to clear them on a daily trend change. So that's what I'm watching for. If Ethereum can change that USD trend and change that BTC trend, that is best case scenario for the bulls. Litecoin, a little bit weaker compared to Ethereum. Right now, strength goes Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. Nope, other way around. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin for 1, 2, 3 out of those names. And the daily time frame, anything under 91.35 is just a lower high. We're not even close to that. So clear downtrend still intact. And if we look at the LTC, BTC, it's weaker as well. We're down at the double bottom and on the verge of a break for another leg down after rejection from the exponential resistances. So support on the daily for Litecoin, 70.66 before we see another leg down. And LTC, BTC also on the verge of another leg down under 0.007 if that break were to occur. XRP USD has seen a nice oversold bounce, so there was opportunity there, and congrats to those that were confident enough to play that oversold bounce. We have multiple inside bars break bullish at 265, but the bottom line is at this point, if I'm just watching this, technically speaking, if we can't get over daily exponential resistances, the bulls prove absolutely nothing to us whatsoever because of the amount of rejections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, pretty much 8 distinct attempts and distinct rejections from daily exponential resistances. Anything on the daily chart under 33.1 is just a lower high. So just like Ethereum, if we're going to change this trend, in my opinion, it's going to have to look something like this, and we would have to clear the exponential resistances very clearly to get over, to change the trend and get over those exponential resistance levels. BNB, at times there are setups where I can tell it's a tightening range, but for clarity, I have to play around with which time frame it's most clear on. And in this instance, it's the 3-day time frame. So if we look at the 3-day chart, where every candlestick represents 3 days of trading, we have a very clear equilibrium forming on Binance. We have the low, high, higher low, lower high, bulls attempting another higher low here. Not enough follow through yet to be confident, but the most important support for me is 26.20 and key resistance is 31.88. So still a pretty wide range. It's entirely possible that we form another lower high and continue to tighten up into next week here. But if I'm watching Binance for an entry, this is the time frame that I'm doing it on, knowing that the weekly time frame is trying to flatten out and shift momentum back towards the recent high, but it's going to require a bull break of this time frame, the 3-day chart. Certainly not a time frame I use often, but in this instance, it's the most clear for me. And let's just compare it to the daily chart, which is much less clear. This is that equilibrium that we're looking at, but there's all kinds of little higher lows and lower highs mixed in there. Link USD is on its way to making a bull break. There's one little thing that has me cautious. Key break right now occurring. It happened at 258, but the lack of a spike in bull volume is what has me cautious. So we want to see a bull break of 258, a spike in bull volume, and then follow through to 276, because if we can't break 276, then it's certainly a red flag. At this point, if in a bullish position, the bulls must hold 216. Anything above 216 is a daily high or low. And when I'm comparing volume, I want to make sure I'm checking multiple exchanges as well. And I look at Binance on the daily, and we don't have the volume, and we don't have the break yet. So that break was specific to Coinbase, and if Binance cannot get over 266, again, that's a red flag that just tells us the break has not taken place yet. Again, we're looking at a low, high, higher low, lower high, higher low, unable to break resistance yet. Binance has more volume, so that means it holds more weight for me. So although we have broken bullish on Coinbase, definitely taking that with a large grain of salt until it breaks on higher volume exchanges and gets some follow through. So that's where we stand in the cryptocurrency space. Walking up my stop loss on the 4-hour higher lows. Again, may take a red trade on this dump and bounce attempt because things got more extreme, but managing it in a way where that loss is not going to be a bank breaker and just a couple green trades, 1 or 2, will make back up for that, and possibly going to get bailed out if we get another leg up. So thanks again for tuning in, ending here with a bit more clips from our Chart Guys meetup here just this past weekend, which was a whole lot of fun. We're going to be doing a lot more of those in the future. Appreciate the shout out to Step 2 for this footage, and there'll certainly be more and more footage trickling in over the next week or so as people get settled back home. do get things out there. We'll check in when we get some more clarity. 4-hour time frame, most important short term. Daily tightening ranges on Bitcoin and a lot of other names, most important midterm.